You know, every week we try to make Musically Speaking special. Today is no exception because today we're celebrating life. Yes, we're celebrating with a man who is truly a legend. We use this word loosely, you know, and sometimes I think it has lost some of its significance from overuse. But when I say this is a legend as far as our music is concerned, and we're not just talking about Jamaican music, we're talking about modern popular music. I am here privileged to be speaking today on this program on the anniversary of his birth to none other than the man I call Augustus, but most people call by the name just Gussie. Yes, they call him Gussie Clarke, a man who started his high school days on North Street. Yes, a fort.
You know, man.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to just say it like that because I come from the top side of North Street.
The wrong side.
Where the Glen and all those places happen to be. But I'm talking to a man who I have the utmost respect for his contribution to the craft that we call music. Augustus Clarke. This is Musically Speaking. I'm Clyde Mckenzie, and Zuri's here, Kevin Williams is here, Danelia Doyle is here, and of course, Augustus the Great is here. When you talk about hits, that's the man. And today we're looking at his role in the music business as that of a producer primarily. You know, now when we hear songs, and when we hear all these great songs, we know that they couldn't be recorded if there was not a producer. So you can have a song, yeah, people can have songs and they can sing it live, but to have a recording, you need a producer, and this man is a producer extraordinaire. We're talking again about Gussie Clarke. And just to give you a little sampling of just one of the many hits that this man has created. Listen to this one. Rumors them spreading. Gussie. Gregory Isaacs is a most unconventional man, if I should say so myself.
I think he's the most quick-witted human being I have ever met.
Yes?
Yeah, man.
Sharp,
quick, on point, on spot, and without a itch.
Give me some examples that you can recall of Gregory and his quick-wittedness.
Let's say, for example, we were at Dynamics recording an album, and there was a song named Nick of Time, and I'm like, Gregory, what kind of funny name? Why song Nick of Time? Him said, can we just make it up now, Nick of Time? I mean, another day we were at Dynamics recording, and he came to me, and usually when he's around, quite a few other people are around, I beg something, look something, expect something. So him come to me and say, don't pay me no mind, anything me say, just follow me. So him grab me in the shirt collar like him draping me from down at the bottom of Dynamics, go all the way to the gate. I'm like, okay, where's this going? And grumbling. When him reach the gate, is a cab up there who open, him just jump in there and say, later.
I mean, I've heard so many stories about Gregory, but the thing is, he was a classic performer.
To be quite honest, Gregory, a whole lot of people remember Gregory for many more things than his singing. For example, I'm seeing him a couple of years, a young man turn up at the studio with a letter from Gregory. This letter serves to introduce my employee, Mr. So-and-so, and he's here to collect my royalties. So instead of a signature, him draw a gun on it.
Because he used to call himself Hitler, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
originally it was called Toothache. I'll give you another one. We're at Slipe Road working on. Sometime him kind of like him chick slip and him come and there's Barry who was working with us. He's now at VP. And I don't know what happened to Barry, and him draw some knife off a Barry or something. And I'm like, the next morning he came, and when him come to me, first him touch me and say, tell Barry morning for me come me and him not talk. It was a classic, man.
No, people have all of these tales of Gregory, but sometimes he had a tendency not to turn up when he was supposed to. I heard a number of stories about Gregory not honoring his commitments on the road, and some of that is told in Copeland Forbes' book.
I never had that problem. I know people had it. I never had that problem.
Okay. But the fact is, you say he is one of the most, perhaps the most quick-witted human being you have ever encountered, and he was when he was in studio, he delivered.
Yeah, man. The only thing, him have an next way, like, let's say you never agree for $10. So at the end of the job, he believes that it should be $12. He'll probably come to you and touch you and say, put some fertilizer upon it.
Put some fertilizer upon a thing.
No, man, it was like, but I never had a problem with him. Whether creative, personal, never.
And he worked quickly.
Oh my
because
God,
he wrote his songs or he created his songs rather quickly.
In the nick of time.
Now we're looking at the whole business of the role of the producer, Gussie. And sometimes it's a thankless job because people blame producers for all manner of evil things. Now, the term producer is almost like a catch-all kind of term because you people sometimes assign that name to the people who arrange the song. Sometimes it is people who finance the song. And my own definition of the producer is the one who owns the master, right? The master owner. Now, I mean, and that's separate from the person who might actually be the one who assembles the song. Now, we know also that there are people who are called producers who assemble the song. So it's a complicated kind of thing. But when I speak of somebody like a Gussie as producer, he is one who is there and he looks over what is happening. He assembles his group, his team, and he is responsible for the financing, and he owns the master.
Yeah, man, you are correct. But one of the things in our industry is that, I mean, many of us wear so much different hats. So a producer could be all the above you have just said. It could be just some elements of it. In my case, right, as you said, I had an excellent team of creatives. The Mikey Bennett, the Upton Linders, the Sly, the Robbie, the Clevey, the Steely, you name them all. I had different teams and they were assigned to different projects. And one of the things for me, I'm not one of the producers somebody can said, oh, Gussie wasn't in the studio when that song. Everything happens, I am there, I approve. And to me, the job of a record producer is actually to take an idea from an idea or a concept to a reality, whether it is a successful reality or not, but to a reality, to guide the process. This is why some of us has different and signature sounds and signature things. For me, I have, I love certain things, the rims and different keyboards playing different things at different points. So we all have different approach and they're all complemented by my team of people. Most of the artists that work, somebody didn't even write the songs, you hear them singing. And for me, I believe first and foremost, a song comes first. A song make it a singer. Singer don't come before no song for me. Because it all depends on the song at the end of the day.
Now, one of the things, Gussie, is that you're going to find that people will always look at the producer and, as you said, they interrogate his or her role I'm sorry, in the production of the music. Now, one of the things that people always say about Gussie is his level of organization, that you are supremely organized. Is there a template? Was there somebody? I mean, now people like to compare your situation with your team of writers and, you know, engineers and musicians like Motown. Is there a template that you looked at and
no
tried to copy?
No, I've been so kind of philosophical all my life, and one of the things I recognize is that anybody can do anything you and I are doing, but you and I will do it differently, and difference is what brings success and or failure. So anything I approach, I try to look at how can I have a different outcome, or can I have a unique outcome, and I take that kind of approach. I mean, I can't tell you A to B to C to D, you know, but I know exactly what I want, and when I get it, I know, and I have the technical people around me who, you know, who can interpret. And one of the things which is not good for current day musicians, producers, music makers, etc., is that I refer to it as the me factor. Somebody want to say, me build the rhythm, my studio, me produce it, me write it, me mix it, me this, me that. So I call it the me factor. But if you look at music historically, our greatest era of innovation was with collaboration, when the creative energies and ideas of different persons came together. We made history, and we still can do it because the talent is around. But, you know, just some people don't want to share the slice of the cake. And the music has actually shifted. I think technology is an aid, but not the penultimate tool, while some people see it as a tool. I don't. I believe that so much great talent and musicians out there doing great stuff. And science is a sound. If you don't understand the sound or the science of sound, then, you know, you make something sound great in your bathroom, in a foul cup, anywhere. But when you take it out to the real world and compare it, it is not standing up. This is why so much time you see so much artists make great songs or music, and, you know, record company tell them, yes, but we'd like to mix it over by so-and-so, we'd like to, because it sounds like crap, really, outside of where sound really matters.
Yes.
You know?
When you really break it down in a scientific way, acoustically.
Yeah, because if you look at it, equipment, you know, makes a difference. You have a microphone for $10, you have a microphone for $10,000. There must be a reason. You have a speaker box for $500, you have a speaker box for $5,000. There must be some difference in all of that, you know. And people have to understand it's not just simply because I can buy this and I can get a Fruity Loops program and I can make a rhythm, it's great, you know. And it's a whole lot of things. And the music, is the creation is changing. Previously, it was much more producer-driven. It is now much more artist-driven. Producers usually say artists usually say every producer a thief. Now, when they are now producing themselves, I wonder what they are now, if they are not thieves too.
Are them thieving themselves?
All right. Are them not getting nobody for thief if everything I feel, you know? But it's an extremely ungrateful business, though. Extremely ungrateful.
Now, we spoke about technology, and you have said that there have been changes brought about by technology because it now allows individuals to be more involved in the production of their own music, like artists, than they were before, I suppose. That's one of the things, one of the changes that you would have mentioned. But technology, how do you see technology on a whole in terms of its impact on modern Jamaican music? And we can look from, you know, the multi-tracking days when you start moving away from the recording sessions where you had everything had to be done one time and you could break down the song afterwards. Talk to me about that.
Look, technology makes some artists get lazy, some producer lazy, some musician lazy. Let me give you a good example of an artist. Let's say, for example, an artist, he does a song and, you know, it sounds good, and later on you think that, yeah, I think we need to fix that little part. I don't like how it sounds. I'd like him to do it a little bit different. The artist probably tell you, no, man, just take Pro Tools and fix that, man. We can't bother with that. I mean, different things, different point, different sound. You might want to put different things underneath it. It doesn't give it that ability. So a producer can't be someone who from hear the intro and the first 4 bars of the song, you hear the entire music of the song. Different thing has to be enhanced and supported by different verses and choruses, and it might be the same verse repeat itself, but it needs to be different. It needs to be treated. Mind you, you're going to have to pay somebody to do it, but if that's what you need to do to create a better product, that's what you need to do. You have another set of people like them just don't want their criticism, and other opinions is important, and you need to listen to it. For example, if an artist come to me with a song and I think that you should say we instead of I, that's what I'm going to want. If him don't want to do it because him don't want to do it, I don't think I am going to do it. Because as a producer, I have a role and a responsibility towards the best outcome for the song, not for the singer. And I make every decision, along that line. Now, let's say, for example, the same thing would happen to a musician. He plays a bass line and you play the same thing at another part in the song, and you like it to change because you like it phrase a little bit different. Him tell you, just copy it and paste it and use Pro Tools. But I think technology is an aid. Technology should allow us to make better, greater music. But to do that, one of the first things that makes a difference is the skill set of the individuals who are using the technology. Because if somebody just know if it does the basic, then is only so much they can do. You understand? If them don't understand the difference between this plugin with free or the one of them crack. Because not for them to buy plugin and them crack the plugin or use crack plugin, and them same when people pirate them song, them a complain while them pirate the software manufacturer. So it's a whole heap of complication and necessary mix up that we could be taking advantage and making better music. And when foreign people take that kind of approach and make great music, them ball about foreign people make more money out of the music, and it's a different mindset, a different approach in some cases, and we have to analyze all of that. I mean, I give you a good example of how my commitment to song versus singer. Let's look at Rumors. We're doing a project with the Mighty Diamonds, and Rumors was written by Carlton Hines for the Mighty Diamonds project. Mm-hmm. And when I heard the song, I said, no song, it doesn't sound like Diamonds.
But Diamonds did the background vocals on that.
Many people did.
Yeah.
And I said, no, sir, it doesn't sound like Diamond. This sound like Gregory Isaac. Magically, yo and behold, Gregory Isaac rode up at the studio. The rest is history. So, I mean, Maxi Priest, just a little bit longer, was written, mixed, mastered, produced for Dennis Brown. Maxi Priest came in and I'm like, no, sir, this doesn't sound like, it sounds like Maxi could have done a better job. The rest is history. I make decisions, and many producers wouldn't do it because I don't want Diamonds Vex and them don't want Gregory Vex. I them don't want Dennis Vex. Boy, I want the song to be pleased and me to be pleased to the bank.
So people say Gussie's a tough producer.
No, I know what I want, and I might not.
You're not going to compromise.
No. I am firstly committed to the song, then the singer after. That is me. And if somebody can understand that, we can't go much further.
Would you say that the music business, how people listen, how they produce music, has shifted a lot, in the sense that many people would look at the orchestration of a Gussie Clarke production then and say, boy, we should take a more minimalist approach to the production of the music, and people perhaps don't want all of these big arrangements anymore. That's for another time. What would you say?
In some cases, yes, and in some cases, no. But there's another example I give. I said to everybody, look, if after 30 years after I'm dead, Bob Marley has sell more records than ever reggae artists who are alive today, then something was right then and something is not right now. So they probably need to go do a research, go back and find what was so good and great then that allowed those music to last this long, sustain itself. Every time I hear Bob's advertisement on the Sandals Beach thing, it tired to hear it. On the TV, I'm like, it sounds like something just recorded
just
yesterday.
Brand new.
Yes. So we have lost something along the way. But mind you, there's no formula for success either, Sometimes a buck up, you go inside if you turn left and you turn right. But you have to know where you want to turn, or you have to say, don't turn so deep, so wide, so fast. And you might end up at the right place where you want to be. You might pass it or you might don't reach it. So you have to come with certain skill set. I mean, I knew where my skill sets lie. I am a creative, A, and B, I have a good idea how business work. So I tell people, be the best of what you can be rather than trying to rather end up being the worst of what you want to be. So I knew where my skills lie. And I just zone right in there, get all the needed team and talent, and we work something out and it work. Now, one thing with me, if we agree on anything, I am not going to change my mind. Worse if me give you my money. That is one. The second thing, don't bring nothing come to me if you do unless me can smell the money. Because me not smell the money, me not getting involved. Because if I'm going to spend money, I obviously want to make some money. And if I don't see why I do it, no matter whether we're a friend, me like you like me, I'm not going that route if it's not profitable. Many people don't like that.
Gussie, I mean, people said they could see that you're a businessman from you were going to school. I mean, a man like Juicy Bell. You went to school with Juicy, right?
Yeah, man.
And Juicy would say, but you could have seen from this or say, Gussie Clarke was a businessman. Him used to come to school and do business.
I know Juicy alone see it, me see it too. Yeah, man. No, this is what I said to you, Be the best of what you can be rather than end up being the worst of what you want to be. I realize where my two skills lie and I pursue them.
So from you there, Casey, Gussie, you knew that you were going to be a producer?
No, I knew. I couldn't say I knew where I was going to go, but the few things I liked were along that path. And I have operated in many different fields of it. So let's go into Casey. Me learn how to fix bicycle. So me make my bicycle and me fix up this bicycle pretty and spray it different time. Go school early every morning, sell right, take the money, save up buy amplifier. My mother pay the technician for make it and buy amplifier, start me little sound King Gussie, them take the sound, take the little amplifier, swap it with the teeth out, transform out and father sound system and swap it to me for the amplifier. Me take the amplifier and make it and me swap it to Errol Dunkley for a rhythm and take the rhythm and voice.
You're a real deal maker.
Yes. I knew then, and I am still business oriented. No, some people don't like that because sometimes people come to me daily for advice, and I give people the advice I would take for myself. But I don't say to them, here's what you have to do. I said to them, if it was me, this is what I would do. Because not everybody's strong enough to stand up and say. So them go say, Gussie Clarke say, there's one more man who hate me because I Gussie make it not allow him to take advantage of people. You understand? 9 out of 10 people have bad things to speak about me. I have never done any business with them.
Hold on. We're coming right back. This is musically speaking. This is sensational. The legendary Gussie Clarke. We're talking about production, producers, and this is really exciting. Brown and Isaacs in combination. Gussie Clarke production. You call it ragamuffin or call it big all around. Call it what you want. Listen, Gussie Clarke, this is a classic. If ever there is one. Bad tune. Now, you talk about your team. You've made reference to your team, and people, I spoke about the organization that people always make mention of when they speak about you. Tell me about your team.
All right. I always have a great set of complementary creatives around me. The chief buckle washer was Mikey Bennett.
Songwriter extraordinaire.
Songwriter, background vocalist, vocal arranger. I mean, he did it all. That's my party. That's one of my best friends. I mean, I have a whole heap of them.
And it's a Casey man too, right?
Oh, God. One thing with you, All right. I can understand that. It's not our fault with school you go. So, and, there was the Oakland Linder, Carlton Hines, songwriter extraordinaire. And there was the team of engineers, the Stephen Stanley, the Sony, the Soldier. Then there's my partner, Courtney Small, who is was like a whiz kid who lived down the road from me. And like me say, talent and ability in this youth. And me and him just start par until this day. And that is like my best of the best friends. I trust that man with any, every, any, and all. You understand? And me and him have so much similarities. Then there was the Dean Fraser who was vocal arrangers and
horns. He would also arrange your horns.
Yeah,
too.
man, he would be in charge of that section. So we have had Slider Robbie. I have a great relationship with nearly everybody. Because one thing nobody can tell you. I get $1 to give them and give them 99.9 cents knowingly. You'll hear them say, boy, them should have get more. But it's not my fault if you agree to what me and them agree to. Anything we agree to, we stick to. Because I tell you before, it's an ungrateful business. But the team, nearly, a good example of how we do what we do. Nearly everyone who work for me or has worked for me with any skill set or talent, drive them own car, own them own house. It might not come directly from me out of my pocket, and it wouldn't either. But no, I'm not that generous. But there's another thing, as I tell you about the whole philosophical aspect of me. And another of my sayings is that sometimes the opportunity given or taken is not the opportunity, but the opportunity that can lead to the real opportunity. It simply means you have to have vision when you're getting into something. Nearly every staff who I have around me, I work from 10, 20 odd years. So something must be right. You understand? And anybody who around me and not better off, do have no ambition, or them do have no skill set, and that is their fault, not mine. I know where mine was and I moved towards it. But I would describe my music as I do what I love because I love what I do, and what I do has loved me back, and I am grateful. It's all for people give me opportunities and let me in them creative space, and we have done well. I mean, a whole heap of people have made millions, you know. And them now come tell people, say, if it wasn't Gussie, me wouldn't get so much million, you know. And when them hear a man beside, I say, me a thief, who me never do no business with, them don't say no. I'll give you 2 examples of bad names. The worst example of bad name is Manley Buchanan, Big Youth.
But you're the screaming target.
But no, well, let me get history about that. I created Screaming Target. Lately, me here, when Big Youth moved from one point to another, let me tell you, the man hit me for 40 years, sir. The man said, me I try thief in publishing. And to be honest with you, every interview him do it, him say it. So many interview. And to be honest with you, you know, I want to tell me I want them really do something I don't know about. But then one day I make a mistake. I say, the amount of money you get from Universal, I mean, whoa, never got a penny from Universal. I go back and dig and research. I don't know nothing about the man publishing. So, and I call his publisher and tell them what to do to solve the problem. And him never come back to me and say, I am sorry, I have had you up for the wrong thing for 40 odd years. You understand? And now, you know, he's claiming 100% everything, which is not entitled to. I'm going to get in trouble. For example, Dennis Brown in their own way. Dennis Brown sing part of it, wrote part of it, or Greg wrote it. He's claiming 100%. I hear him do an interview there, then I hear him say that, boy, somebody asked him, so Screaming Target and me and Gussie. I am like, where you get that from? You know nothing about Screaming Target producer except you're a great DJ. We had an idea and a concept and you brought real talent to it. We made a great product. But then I realized why Big Youth was saying that him do it. Because the song is available digitally and him have it out upon him label digitally out there and have it a sell. It don't matter to me. I couldn't care less, means nothing to me. But for a man here for 40 years is something you don't know about, you not do. And we have not the decency to come back and say, I am sorry. Is the worst artist I ever record, Big Youth, Manley Buchanan. And I tell him every day. There's 2 other examples I give you quickly. You have an artist in New York, must name Tanto Irie. Don't know him, never met him, never do nothing with him. Me and do some YouTube interview. And Gussie Clarke and the man, they are Pirates of the Caribbean. Don't know him. Me and Red Rat do a next interview. And when man like Gussie Clarke and the man, they say dancehall music, a boogo yaga music. Look how much dancehall song we produce. He and I has never had a conversation. So you get a bad name for things where you're not doing now. And you get bad name for things that people want to do. And because of your experience and advice to other people, it prevent them from doing it. It don't matter to me because them can't prove nothing. You know what people again I tell you, I have make millions and still making. I know people who on the publishing side, I know people who have ownership and claims and right to things, and have not collected penny for 10 years. Come to me, broke everything. We started, them I make millions, and two them turn behind your back and try to stab you in your back, so you shouldn't be in it no more after you. It's ungrateful and a great business. And if you don't have on your business that do nothing as an artist, as a producer, do nothing with nobody unless it is in black and white. Because 20 years down the road, you're going to hear this is not what we had agreed upon. And that is one of the reasons I can't find paper right now from 40 years ago. I did when we record things. I know artists tell lawyer, never get a penny yet. I would just go upstairs in the attic and dig up the whole filing cabinet and come back and copy the check and say, see it here. Man come out, boy, look like my signature, but boy, I don't know, you know. Me I come back tomorrow and never turn. Some of them liar wicked. But don't bother me because you know what you're getting into in this industry. I understand it well. And here's where I began and how it began. I usually do many things. I usually have the sound system. I cut dub in a little board studio downtown, probably the first home studio ever exists in this country. After we done that, we started to do something called Gussie exposure because I import foreign records, I export Jamaican records. So I find all the producers who were doing a project and can't finance it, and but pay if you do it and take the first 500 and ship it to my suppliers and my abroad, have the edge and thing, and then we move from that to production because I believe I could have contributed. This is what led me to where I was, you know. So a whole heap of things to do and to think people, man. Very few people here. The few people, you know, I don't remember people I've done good for, really. But I remember the bad one, them. So we just give 3 big youth and the other 2. And the amount of people who can come and say, from you know me, Clyde, have you and I ever had a bad conversation?
No, me and you.
All right. Well, and most people...
we have done business together.
But you know, you guys, because you're intelligent, and that I part of problem now. If you're never intelligent, we'd have enough problem. So me and people who are intelligent have less problem. The biggest problem in our music industry, too much people take perception to be their reality, is the biggest problem. A man put out a song, him hear it. And when him hear it, him say, boy, it sells so much, it makes so much, he feels his due a certain amount. If him not get it, somebody a thief. It tragic. It tragic, man.
So we talk about team, we talk about some of the misinformation, sometimes errors, misconception, because a lot of times it might not be that somebody's definitely malicious. It might be that somebody just has a wrong perception about something, and sometimes it persists for a long time.
Sometimes a man who didn't know learn from a man who never know, and I tell a man who needs to know. Misinformation right across the globe.
Yes. Tell me something, Gussie, because we spoke about templates that you might have looked at and how you might have fashioned your business. But you started your business in kind of like the traditional way. I mean, you were a sound system operator before you became a producer, much like Cox and Duke Reed and the rest of these people. It seems to be like a formula. You start out as a sound system operator and move on. But I want to go on about this team thing because you spoke glowingly about Mikey Bennett.
Yeah, man.
Your schoolmate. But there's another one, Donovan Germain.
And a Germain, him name crime, because him don't pay. I'm a bona fide brethren, man. I'm a bona fide brethren.
You hear the man I call the Don of Dons. You hear that the Don of Dons, you don't pay. The man says like a vice grip.
My God, man. No, man, bona fide brethren, man. And he's one of the most grateful persons who have one of probably the most grateful, expressive person who have said, if it was me and he would not be where me is and the way him do, etc., etc. I mean, even when him got OD and him asked me if I come the night and come and I was running late, which rarely happens, and him call me can't start till you come, and them thing I respect. You understand? And me understand that. I don't want it, now look for it, but when it comes and you know it is truthful, you appreciate it, you know? especially when you do so much ungrateful people, man. Jesus Christ, man. So you have people, outstanding people like him, you know. And I'm there to provide free advice to anybody I can. And if what I do work on somebody want to model what they want to model and how I do it, I'm there to help nearly anybody, you know.
No, and speaking of Jermaine, you had a special relationship because Jermaine served as an outlet.
Yes.
For some of your music, particularly when he was running his business in New York.
Yes, that is
Tell us about that.
Jermaine, equally as us, was a record producer, and he was involved with a record store in New York called Keith that I think he eventually bought. So I usually export record to him. I usually release my records him up there. And I remember one at a time, you know, me and him kind of have a little slide problem. Extremely slide. Not, I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't anything. And we just put out past the cut chip on it. I think it was a 10-inch, the Mighty Diamond song. And it's like, me remember I was considering or probably not giving it to him, and the man said, Gussie, me I tell you the truth, you know. If you don't give it to me, if I put up, me I pirate it. Me have to give it to the cheaper. But I love the ground Jermaine walk, and we are friends. We are truly friends.
Yeah, and you both occupied basically the same space for a long while.
Yeah. I was there first, and then he was associated with the owners
yes,
and thing,
yes.
and they put the studio. Yeah, we're doing great, and you know, I mean, even that again show you how I looked at business. For example, all I usually do upstairs at 56 Lapwood was distribute records, right? And I'm there recording all these studios all around town, and I believe that you have to watch the clock and you something on the privacy, and in them days of the monthly and the whole of them go and hear somebody do something, them go lick it over, and I believe I required privacy. So I said, let me build a studio. I said to myself, and again, here's doing things differently. In Jamaica at that time, there's basically one brand of equipment was called MCI Sony. And I am like, there must be a bit other equipment in the world, and go England and run into a company called AMEC. They made a great deal, and I realized there's another company in Japan named Otari, and we bought different set of equipment, came back, and Mikey built, literally my second Mikey built the whole studio from scratch up, and we built the studio and we started doing what we're doing. When doing that, we only had one room upstairs, which was the office and a bathroom. So like, how do I put a studio here? I need a vocal room, a control room. How do I have a bathroom? And I am like, see, some of the premises supposed to get notice. And then I just say, look, the law.
So what you do with the bathroom? You convert the bathroom.
I converted the bathroom
So you
to the vocal room and do the bathroom. So I brokered a deal with the hairdresser downstairs whenever anybody need to use the bathroom could use it. And I said, even if the landlord give me notice, he can tie it up in a coat for a couple of months and give me time to go look somewhere. So you want Bowl, you know, Janet Stanbury was our attorney then.
Yes.
She sells, you know, somebody a sell a place and we'll buy it, and I'll never forget buying the place. I don't
That's
know.
That's Windsor.
Windsor. I don't know how we are going to build or we are doing not. But one thing I learned, the quicker you start, is you're way ahead by a day. And I never forget one man, Dr. Dredd, Ross. It's like him send 5,000 US come give me and say, Gussie, I know what you're doing. Here's, take this. Just do what you can do. And I'll never forget it. And we just start, and the rest is history. And we, up to now, we are not failures, you know. And this business, you know, I'll put it the way how you can analyze as an educated man. When you are not a failure, you automatically becomes a target in a music business industry. Mm-hmm. I could have said when you are successful, but it come like you're show off. Somebody just say when you are not a failure, you automatically becomes a target. That's the nature of the beast.
The nature of the beast, musically speaking. You know, we're talking with a man who has done it. This is a man who people look to when they talk about setting standards, because he doesn't compromise.
I can't afford it.
We're talking about the man Gussie Clarke, and I mean, we talk about hits. He has them, right? One of them, Gussie, that we haven't spoken about is Telephone Love.
Oh, Telephone Love. Here, Telephone Love came about. We created rumors and realized how dynamic this rhythm was. I am not into the person make rhythm.
Yeah, because you're not a rhythm driven man.
I'm song driven, right? And I am like, Jesus God, everybody will lick over this rhythm. And although the technology was new, it was shifting from full analog to digital / analog. So I said, God, so call in the team and say, oh God, okay, I say, Mikey Bennett, and let's look at a concept. Let's look at something else so we can do.
But Mikey was coming from Jammies,
Yeah,
where that concept was more in train.
But not the concept of how we do things.
Okay, but the concept of
producing and overseeing.
Doing a number of tracks on the
yes,
same rhythm.
Yeah, it was some that.
Yes.
But so he was not actually that instrumental in the looking at reusing the rhythm. That was me. But what he was in, but he endorsed it, supported it, and encouraged it. Because we realized and understand how the industry was working. So we wrote the song Telephone Love. We figure this sound like JC Lodge. We get to JC and Gussie, I'm not too sure. I tell them I could talk to Harold. And JC talked to Harold, and next man like Harold say, yeah, this is a great song, June, do it. The rest is history again, you know. So she again.
So
she never knew about it.
What you're saying is that in many instances it happens by chance.
Yeah.
In the sense that you might have had the particular song geared for somebody else, and then all of a sudden
we find the right fit.
You find the right fit.
Yeah, and again, one of the things, you know, because we recognize that's a set of talent that was there, that was being underutilized of songwriters and things. Everybody wants to sing them own song. I'm soon tell you the stupidness about that part there. So what I did is that we wrote songs, the team, Mikey, the Hope and Carlton Hines, they wrote songs, and we don't know who we're going to want to sing
so
them yet.
You had a stock, you had a stack of songs.
Yes.
So you stock up your songs.
We had a stock of songs, and we had writers who were able to write on the fly, right?
So in other words, you never had a strict formula.
No.
You would have a situation where somebody, if a Dennis Brown came in and you thought that there was an opportunity,
yes,
you would have people who could write on the fly.
Yes.
But then you would have your shelf of songs,
right,
where you could pull something. And if somebody came in, you could give it to them.
Yes,
or sometimes you would have a situation in which you would immediately see on the writing of a song who you want to do it.
Yes, definitely. It's a combination of both. And if we're doing something with Dennis Brown and it's going well, we'd say to the writers, look at what else you can find in Dennis. And they would come to me with things, and I'd say, let's change it that way, let's do this. Because as I tell you, I was always hands-on in any and everything. Because if I don't like it, I'm not going to produce it. Because somebody can't produce it for me, and then I'm going to say, me produce it. Like some of the so-called record producers nowadays, where him go to a man and say, I want a tune with you, him get a rhythm from a youth, and them turn up a studio, them don't know where him again. Only two things him know. Him will get a song, the man will get some money. No, I have to hear it before, I have to approve it, I have to vet it, I have to provide my comments, and then we have to agree that this is how it's going to be. Because at the end of the day, my name is going to be called, that's being involved. So I have a certain standard and quality, an approach that I believe in. And my approach usually was, prior to when the artist voice the song, I look at it more creative. Once the artist has done his lead vocals, I started looking at it from a commercial perspective. What do we do to enhance, to make it different? Even if you look at the album, let us say the Rumors Rhythm album, Showcase 88, involve nearly everybody. When you look at it and you listen to all of these songs, musically they are different except for the basic rhythm. It's not just everybody just got voice on a different mix. We do nearly everything differently. So because I had such a great support team, if I want turn left, they'll know how to do it fast or slowly, or cross the T's and dot the I's with me, and then we agree good. So, the team was critical.
Stephen Stanley.
That's a crazy man.
I want to talk about him.
Jamaica's greatest mixing engineer, Stephen Stanley. Don't care nobody say or think. But him kind of miserable still.
Now, Stephen basically played the role of a musician sometimes.
Yes. He's extreme. He plays the role. His actual role should be, a remixer. You will give him something and he turns it the way how he thinks it should turn. well, you can be one of those persons that they just take it, or you can be somebody like me that I will advise him how to tweak and move it a little bit left or a little right, or not so much left and right. But he is a remixer. So, with my initial perspective of creative look, with the second trance of commercial and a Stephen Stanley and the remixing hen, we end up making things unique. And that was the whole part of the whole team. So people who there with them, you know, who want to claim, so, well, boy, everything, me mix, me write, me this, me that, a joke thing. It's a joke thing. And, you know, we have so much talent in this country that, you know, but we're coming with the last phase, you know. We're going to learn something called pitchwork, so we're going to look at multiple different talent, not just somebody who wants to be an artist. You could have want to be an artist, an engineer, a producer, a beat builder, a songwriter. We're going to learn something in pitchworks.
You talk about pitchworks, and there's music works, and there's anchor. Tell me a little bit about that.
What really happened is that in those early days, it was cute to have a company. You know, you have a company, this is the publishing company, this is the recording company, this is this. Waste of time in this day and age. All you do is put yourself under too much obligation in government and filing tax at the end of the year and pay accounting fee. So even right now, we had Anchor Media, which was the media side of it, and thing, CD duplication, etc. So we have actually closed down Anchor Media. And we might close something else and just consolidate to one now, because it is a little bit too much. When people come to me, boy, I want to start my company first, and me tell them, say, start your company. Do we really need a company? What do you need to do? Most things go do a sole trade, you don't have these legal obligations, you have to file returns and this and that, the way how, you know, you can do the same thing much more economically. It's cute for some, you have a company, but sometimes a burden. And a duplication of systems.
We're going to talk a little bit again about technology, because you seem fascinated by technology.
Oh yes, man.
And
sliced bread.
that seems to be a running theme in what you do.
Yeah.
When one visits Anchor, one sees a tangible expression of that fascination with technology. Now, I know that when you have big projects, big recording projects, because most people now would look and say, but I mean, the big studio, what do you call it, the church?
The church.
It's a church, that big studio. Mm-hmm. In the church. I mean, it's unless you're doing movie scores or those kinds of things, or some big project with some big arrangement, people use that, do they use that studio?
All right. The concept of how what we have there is as follows. I recognize that in this country, we are a very innovative and creative set of people, but equally, we are followers. So you just put a little sweetie shop outside of the front of your place. You're trying to see how much people are trying to sell sweetie with you. So I look at things competitively. I'm here, but I'm also thinking about down the road.
Almost nobody could follow that one. What you say?
All right. So watch this now. So what we do is say, we're going to build a studio. What different can we do? I'm always looking at things differently. What different? And I said, okay. While we're constructing the building, we created an outside studio to the left when you come in. So that's one studio.
That's what Dr. Marshall used to look.
All right. So that's one studio. From. We sampled and copied and digitized the sound of the original studio at Slipo. That's the middle studio. Then here comes the church. So there are 3 studios, basically 3 different sound, 3 different price. Everything is controlled. You can't even walk from one to the other. It is controlled and everything. So it was to say, if I am working in one studio and other people want to use another studio, they can. So this is the largest recording facility in this country. We have
correct.
3 studios and a mastering suite. No entity in this country have it. Now, let's say, for example, right now, you don't really need, but people are more comfortable in the church because they have more space. It's more spacious.
I mean, I've worked in the church.
It's more comfortable, and it don't cost them more either. So it's a matter of, so we are able to meet any choice of anybody. And like it's about technology, basically, by working in one, you are not short of the technology that exists in another. Basically, they are the same technology except for the space and bigger things in there. So you're not short and nothing, and basically you're paying the same money. So it's basically a matter of choice. If you want comfortable, you might have, and I want to tell you, sorry you weren't there, we bring KC Choir in there. doing
I know of that. I know
recording
the project.
an album in there.
I mean, if you're going to have a big project, that is where you have to
You
go.
have a band from Argentina. I was there about 2 weeks ago. Everybody want to, everybody need the space. Some people want comfort. It's not simply about cost. People, there are certain set of people who like to be comfortable.
I remember Jimmy Jam.
All right.
Working with him there.
With Beanie Man and all of them things.
And that's where they had to come.
And Sting came there, and people more comfortable in that space. People need a little room, little space. And most of the foreigners come there more comfortable there. And that one has its own lobby, its own bathroom, so there's no connection or people, So why things end up that way again?
It was also the hunting ground of the great Fatis.
That's the next criminal, boy, my brother. Until death. Boy, me and him could have fight and quarrel, listen, man. Jesus. Any time him want trick Chris from VP, boy, go see a pressure me, Chris. But I love him until the ground.
No, that's my brother. But Fatis, I remember the first time I heard Jesse Royal. Fatis called me. I mean, I was at my office and I get a call from Fatis. He said, Mr. Mckenzie, brother, you need to come around because of this artist I want you here, I'm going to take a break and we're going to come back. When I come back, I give the rest of that story, musically speaking.
Yeah, man, this is Graham Smog, and whenever I'm rolling through Jamaica, got to keep my radio locked to the bridge. 99 FM, keep it locked. I also reggae and dancehall music, let's see.
We still a do it big.
KFC still a do it big. KFC big deal. The time by KFC big deal is
2 minutes after 1, musically speaking, and we're here with none other than the man who is celebrating life today, talking about the legend himself, Gussie Clarke. I call him Augustus. That's his real name, but very few people call him Augustus. So when he hears Augustus, he knows it's me.
but respectfully, I celebrate life every day. I don't believe in a birthday and Valentine's Day, and I don't celebrate Christmas.
You come like me.
I don't. And I'll tell you why later on.
But we were talking about the legendary
Fatis and Jesse Royal.
Fatis, and I remember he called me around to the studio, around Anchor, and he said, he needed me to hear this new artist that he had. And he took me in the studio, and he was doing these two artists. There was one called Kelia Bliss. It was a girl from New York that he was recording, and also Jesse Royal. I mean, and when I heard it, the first time I heard the artist, I said to Fatis, I said, this gone, man. And that was it.
Humble giant, man.
No, but he was a master in terms of identifying.
No, man. Yes.
His ears.
Yes.
Was and I think some of those principles that you talk about in terms of excellence and wanting it a certain way, I think maybe Fatis embodied some of those things.
Definitely, without apology. Yeah, man. Definitely.
So we have these personalities who we work with in terms of the team, but then you have people like your record labels who you sometimes license your stuff to and distribution. Mm-hmm. What has that been like?
Well, as I said, I'm 50% business and 50% creative. So, I have multiple deals with them, and if I do a deal now and later I don't like it, I am fine with it because I agreed and we agreed. But there's no perpetual deal that I can't get out of or move from because, I am not my own lawyer. I have some experiences, but I don't do anything without attorneys, and I am guided well, and I have done well by my guides.
A man who is not into the business of compromising. Everything must be dotted with the I's, and the T's must be crossed. That's an important thing to learn when we're doing the music business. Gonna listen to a little bit more from the Gussie Clarke production. JC Lodge. You know what we call this one?
Living out my fantasy. Talking love with my mind. Telephone love. You sound so sweet on the line. Telephone love. You make my day every time. Yeah. Telephone love. You sound so sweet on the line. Telephone love. You make my day every time. Telephone love.
was a cool and lovely breezy afternoon. You feel when you got no room. You could feel it cause it was the month of June. You will walk and talk. So I left my gate and went out for a walk. As I passed the dreadlocks camp, I hear them sing. They sing when you hear them sing. Pass the coachie on the left hand side. Pass the coachie on the left hand side. It a go good. It a go done. Jano. Pass the coachie on the left hand side. Pass the coachie on the left hand side. It a go good. It a go done. So I stopped to find out what was going on. For the spirit of Jah, you know, he leads me on. There was a ring of dreads and a session was there in swing. I could feel the thrill as I see and heard them sing. They sing when you heard them sing. Pass the country on the left hand side. Pass the country on the left hand side. It a go burn. It a go done. Jano. Pass the country on the left hand side. Pass the country on the left hand side. It a go burn. It a go done.
Pass the Kutcher, the Mighty Diamonds. A classic if ever there was one. Gussie, what's the story behind the Kutcher? Tell me.
Well, the greatest story behind Pass the Kutcher was I made a fundamental mistake because of just how business work was being done then. But I gained the greatest knowledge arising out of it. For example, in them days, we refer to it as lick over a rhythm. So we lick over the Studio One rhythm, right? Full up. And we, Diamonds, wrote, I tell them, so well, all right, I believe this rhythm have a certain vibe. Sound right, a song. Judge them wrote the song, Kutcher. Here comes musical youth, so they want to do over the song, and they want to make it pass the Dutch, and they were trying to get it cleared. When they approached us,
They were trying to get it cleared from
they were trying to get it
From
cleared
you?
from the owners of the copyright.
that was Coxon.
Well, it would have been Coxon et al. And the Diamond. So the Diamonds, in terms of their copyright publishing, was signed to this man out of California called Turk Snart. He had this publishing company, Strictly Rockers. And we look over a rhythm we have no right to. So it's like, I said to myself, boy, it's like me plant the corn and me can't read the barn. It's not look good. It's not a good look. So I went and I understood.
So you never had clearance from Coxon.
I could not have right. So
Right.
I did it wrong. So I said, this will never happen again. I went and I learned and I understood everything about music publishing. And this preceded the whole Mikey Bennett them and the writing and the Upton Linda and all that. That was before. So that's what led me to have my own set of writers and da. And then at this point, we are the biggest music publisher probably this side of the Caribbean by virtue of that. I went to many local music producers like the Jammies, the Bobby Digital, the Shocking Vibes, the Danny Brown, and many others. And I said, look, all over there Jamaica, yeah, and we are producers. We are investing and developing the talent for people. We're going to make it benefit people, foreigners 42,000 miles away who not develop on that. Let me set up publishing companies for all of you. All you have to do is get the contract signed. We have developed a software to run it, to do all of the automated accounting and everything. You'll make millions. Nearly everybody sign on and thing. And until this day, they have made millions and still making. Honest to God, I don't remember anyone who ever come and say, Gussie, honestly, if it wasn't for you, I would not be doing so well when times were bad and doing so well right now. And arising out of that knowledge and understanding also is that the Jamaica copyright thing was pretty weird. I think they had something one time called CCO, which is Caribbean Copyright Organization. It break down. So there was no, it's not like no JCAP.
So there was no CMOs.
There's no CMOs, PROs in Jamaica.
Yes.
So people come to me approaching me, this guy with a Canada, I think his name was something another, Betty, and they want to set it up and them set meetings, and I didn't feel comfortable seeing them not invite certain people, and I realized they want to set up a business, and these organizations would normally be owned, non-for-profit, not for profit, should be owned by their members. So I put a team of my people them together, and we Stanbury them, the Babsy Grange and the Steve Goldings and the Desi Young, and we started the footwork of setting up JCAP. And JCAP right now is historical. The only problem with JCAP is that the copyright law or act does not have a certain provision to make Jamaican creators have a greater sense of guarantee to make more money. Government know. All the relevant agencies, if you know, JIPO know, because JCAP and Jams have been, advocating, and I don't know why the powers that be don't fix it. One simple thing. If the law states that you must, all the law need to do is state somewhere in it, whether nice abatement, whether it want be whichever part of the act. It just needs to state you must get a music license X amount of days before your event. If that, because it say you must get a license.
We're talking about the blanket license.
Not necessarily blanket.
You just want a license if you're going to play
events, primarily events.
So you're going to play, you have an event, you need to get a license that you can play any song.
Right. You need to get a music license, from Jams or JCAP. Yes. But the problem with the law...
Or it should be Jams or JCAP or Jams and JCAP.
Jams and JCAP because they are separate rights.
They protect separate rights for separate people.
All the law they need to state is whether 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 5 day before the event. The law say you need to get a license, but it don't say. So it's a loophole.
Yes.
So people can go up to 1 minute to the event and still not get it, and police not turn. If them do that, more Jamaican creators would make tons more money right now in this country, because so much unlicensed events is happening. And that is all it needs for Jamaican. This is sometimes when you hear some people are dead and Babs the Granger Mafia growing and bury people and all kind of people are throw money in the hat for bury people. If that happens, a lot more money would be made by Jamaican creators. That's all them need to do. And them know.
And let us state this. So songwriters, JCAP is the agency that protects
National
agency that protects your right as a songwriter.
As a songwriter or as a music publisher. So
right, or music publisher, right? So if you control the publishing or you are a songwriter, then you should make sure that that is one of the collective management organization.
Yeah, and even if you build rhythm, and there's this other thing too. People believe like, why better I go join BMI or ASCAP? But let's look at it this way. JCAP in this country is taking care of ASCAP business, BMI business.
Yeah, there's reciprocity.
So, right, they have reciprocal. So if them take care for them people one, why them can't take a your one? You understand?
Yes.
So we just need to have a little bit respect and faith. You know, one thing as the same foreigner people believe in, who have JCAP and take care right for
So
them.
ASCAP and BMI are collecting for members of JCAP, and JCAP doing the same thing here, and people must understand that.
All over the world, every country has its national society or some nationalistic society, and all them can do with other countries have reciprocal arrangement with countries to take care of it. So JCAP take care of Michael Jackson, they might take care of everybody you can think of indirectly.
And so remember, songs are controlled by JCAP, but the masters are handled by jams.
By jams.
So the masters, the recording, those things, the rights of the master holders, that is done by jams.
In other words, jams can only provide license for recorded
music.
While JCAP can provide it for recorded, for live, for anything. So this is why in essence JCAP fee, me use a number, might be $5, jams might be $4, and people white dearer because they manage different rights.
Right, okay.
Understand? And they are not the same. You need a license from both.
Now, we're talking about people and their craft, Gussie, and that willingness to learn, that willingness to put out the very best in your production. You see that there might be a tendency now to shortchange in terms of production. Is that you see a function of the market situation where a lot of money is not being made, and therefore people might not want to take too much risk in terms of the breadth and the size of the production?
Sometimes many different things. It can be that too, and it can also be some people just don't fully understand where and how far they need to go and how deep they need to go to get out what's best for a project. I mean, a man believes him build a rhythm pan Fruity Loops and it sound good, and the artist come and sing anything he want to sing pan it, and that is fine for him. Or a man might believe okay, a girl's tune a run now. Everybody do a girl's tune, you gotta do a girl's tune. It can be many things. For example, you see where we are with this trap thing, and the music sound a bit more American than authentic Jamaican. This is something I come 20 years ago, and I tell people, and I tell you what led to where we are now. I don't know about Piola now, because I'm not making records, but in the days when Piola was being the order of the day, you find more foreign songs were being played than good Jamaican songs. So where you find the people who make songs, what they try to do is make songs that sound like what they hear on the radio every day. So it automatically, slowly created a form of, kind of
music
reggae, dancehall, kind of American kind of thing. That's what led us to what we are. People are trying to find. Music was being played upon the quality of its content, And one of my matter is quality of content is king. People are try bill when them hear a play, and they may not be in, let me tell you before, end up some of them doing the worst of what they can be than the best of worse of what they want to be than the best. So it led to right where we are now. You understand? So it's not because of, and some of them just, they're not that creative, them don't know fully and understand fully, some don't know better, some are surrounded by people around them when merely means them will encourage them and basically tell them nearly everything sound good and everything is good. While if a man asks me, I tell him, boy, I mean, I think you should have said that, you know. And I remember Upton Linda wrote a song for Gregory, and the song was called Passing Through. And when Upton wrote the song, it says, I am not passing through. I mean, I say, Upton, it's on a way I tell a woman you're not pass through, like you just come, you know. Just say, I'm not passing through, and you may come check. So the job of a producer with that check and balance and that independent thinking and reasoning, and knowing where they want to reach with with what is best for the project, will make this kind of decision that some people don't have that around them. A man right now is more very proud to say it. Me have my studio, me no man say my bill studio, beg me a mic. And me don't give him a mic when me know no good because me can't give him the good one, me need it. So, you know, it's a lack of appreciating affordability, understanding and having certain skill sets, and in some cases unwilling to partner with other people who you can work with, you know, who might be able to provide objective criticisms and or advice. People believe that them know too much. You know this. Sometimes the amount of training and teaching and resourcing we keep in this country is the same set of people them turn up. When JK, for example, keep a members forum, you probably see 30 odd people turn out at 3,000 odd members, and his information people need to know. So some people, me don't know if them don't want people know them, don't know why them don't turn up. But sometimes a whole lot of knowledge is free, and you just need to go learn or par with people and know well our people that do well to improve your product and thing. And I don't think people, some don't understand and some just not willing. So there's no one reason why we are not better than where we are in what we do. There's no one reason.
Networking is a critical component in this business.
Yes.
And, you know, you spoke of a Jermaine and the relationship. But tell me something about like somebody like Striker Lee.
That's a controversial man, you know.
The great Striker.
Yeah. I don't know much about him and his work to say, but his days in this music kind of preceded me in a sense. We crisscross.
So you worked together?
No, but we crisscross in terms of when he was doing well. One of the things many people don't understand, you know, this is a business where every dog have him there. It includes artists, it includes producer, it includes everybody. I am aware of that. This is why.
And it's a small circle too,
right,
Gussie,
but most people don't understand that you will never be the top artist. You'll never be the top producer. So if you are not making things that will last the test of time, then 10 years down the road, you might not be relevant, because instead of writing great songs, you probably was recording social commentaries, you know.
Which is really specific for a particular period of time.
Yeah, and our subject, you know. So people don't realize that while, for example, you know, I am always here, but me down the road because I know me here already. When COVID came and everybody a ball and no dead for hunger and thing, you know what we do? We take time, we put on a roof on the studio and we pave the place and we paint it over and bring in the street graphics man and put some graphic and we change tile. We upgraded. So we take the opportunity to upgrade, to update. So, because we know it now last favor, and we were unintentionally, we were able to actually be in our position by virtue of how we do things to do that. So we are always ahead of the game, because sometimes coincidentally and sometimes by design, we in a position of advantage because we have a certain experience and realize many things we are going now don't have what it takes to last the test of time. Like me that tell you before, 30 odd years after I'm dead, Bob Marley sell more records than everybody put together. Those things had to be very forward thinking, what am I do. So we kind of look at things in terms of that way, and we believe there's a wave is going to come where we believe that we're going to do even greater than what we are doing right now.
But not only has technology affected production, it has also impacted distribution. How has that changed how you, Gussie, will do your business?
Well, the game consumption has changed totally, and you have to adapt to survive. And even the way you mix music now is going to be affected, not just how it is being recorded because you have new technologies coming. I think that's a system them called Atmos where you mix now like 7.1 or something, and Spotify and Apple and all of them. I said, boy, we want the songs in these formats. Most of the little studios won't be able to do it. Them don't have the space to set up that kind of recording and all of that. So technology, you know.
So you mean you think it might go back to the big players now locally? I mean,
I think
people with the big studios, because people have been carrying their things under their arm and things like that. You think it's going to move back to the bigger players?
There is and will be space for both formats, both size, both structure. It just depends where you make, where you consume, and how it all do. Because at the end of the day, quality of content is king. And it's all about the song and about the rhythm alone. It's about the song. So if you are making great music, maybe you make it and it's not recorded, mixed properly, but someone elsewhere might believe that if we mix this or redo it some kind of way, it can be profitable, it can work. And one of the things with money is that a lot of people don't see, and I smell it a long time before everybody knows, is that this thing of sampling. If you, all of these foreign songs, you see people and Drake and all of them are sample, is a certain amount, a sets of songs, and these songs have some unique things that you can actually see them pick and choose. And why? So it's not because
and you're saying that part of that is the production value of those samples.
Yes. For example, let's look at one. Duster Soundboy with Super Beagle. You know how much time that song has been sampled? Even Sister Nancy, Bam Bam, you know which time that has been sampled. So these songs had some look a unique thing, not because they made hit, you know, but they had unique things that these foreigners believe that we can use these elements in our work and it will enhance it. But the problem now, you know, is that if you are not careful and you didn't own your master, for example, or you had no interest in the copyright, you will not benefit from all of that. And if you don't, and you are not being representative of people of a certain, and to be quite honest, status meaning major players, right? You will not necessarily benefit. A good example is, just call a name for example. Let's say Drake. Drake come and more use a sample of, no matter what name, just a sound boy. And Drake say, yeah, we'd give $100,000 for it and use it and thing, and man, $100,000, what, 15 million, yeah man. Me would have said,
but you not think about your points and,
me would have said,
and all them things.
Give me 5,000 and give me 10% of the new work.
Give me some points.
And that 100,000 at the end of the day I might get $1 million for it. You understand? So who again represents you to do this kind of negotiation and representation is critical.
This is going to be key, because we want to talk about exploitation, because as a producer, you don't only generate revenue and income from your current works, but from your catalog. And we want to talk about that and how we deal with that, because that is where issues about sampling and all those other related factors come in. Musically speaking, Deborah Glasgow, Champion Lover. Tell me a little bit about this one. Just a little bit. Gussie, I want to hear
it. Let's kind of scoop it a bit. So Champion Lover, one of the things that I always do, which I don't know any Jamaican record producer do it, I keep doing constant remixes of my own works. So there's going to be a remix of this one called the Threesome Remix. So it's going to be Shabarangs and 2 female artists, and right now, and the reggae remix is that reggae dancehall has already done, and right now there's a Zambian remix that is actually creating a Afrobeat remix. It's going to be crazy.
So remixing, reincarnating, remodeling, repurposing, that's one aspect of exploitation. Deliberately. So you are configuring your business to ensure that there's a constant stream of income from your production. So that's one way. There is the question of sampling, and just tell people who might want to be a producer exactly what happens in the business and why you should try to make productions that last.
That's where the money is going to be. That's the futuristic way of where the money is always going to be. our music has reached so far beyond the globe, and it is impacting so much people that some of them want to get a piece of it, but they want to get the original, the authentic, the original master, not just to sing it over. So when we create stuff, we have to put unique time signatures in it that you think people will, will use back. Because if you listen again, just a sound boy, if you hear the little part, the minute with him constantly use, it just, I mean,
a particular signature, yes.
For example, it was on a rhythm called, do you remember, Winston, Stalag rhythm, right?
Stalag.
And Reggie Stepper, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did a song on the rhythm named Kuno. One word, Kuno. No, that one word was sampled in the Kanye West song Mercy, and he make more money off of the one word than he make in every song in his entire life. So you see the uniqueness of that one word, how it can bring money. So if the champion level we're talking about, the resampling of it, what we do, we concentrate more upon the part of she want a man, kill with it. So we're actually setting us up so that pretty much down the road, that those unique values will be heard by many other people that might have an interest to use to sample, and we'll be there. So you have to have this kind of, it's not just simple about making music. Anybody can do anything you are doing and I do, but do it differently. Different will bring success.
And you have to have an eye also
Vision
for the
too.
Commercial opportunities.
More than anything else. Because later when you are not the on-top artist or the on-top producer, you might have written the song that has some unique values that others see, want to use, and if you are in a position to negotiate, you will ultimately benefit from it. That's where the money is down the road. More people, there are quite a lot of, like, I don't want to use the word old-time artists who have done well in the past, who are making more money now than artists who are making hits right now because of sampling.
Yes, it's like a pension.
Oh yes.
So,
but people don't think everybody is entitled to the pension. Is where you put in is where you're going to get out.
And a lot of people have not put in enough, and we there's so much we can look at here, Gussie, in terms of just how people understand the music or don't understand it, because that's a critical factor, and we leave a lot on the table when we don't understand the business. Mm-hmm. Now, there is something I want to ask you, because many producers in Jamaica, they tend to be managers of artists. You've not been in the business of managing artists.
I have enough picnic. I don't want to take up no more. No, sir.
No, because Jermaine, the Shocking Vibes, all of these, the Penthouse Shocking Vibes, all of these Too Hard, they have managed big yard, they've managed successful artists. But what is the advantage and disadvantage you think of that approach and that strategy?
At some point, if you have the right artist, it's workable. For example, a Jermaine might concentrate primarily on a bourgeois. That's a success story of him as a manager. Shocking Vibe might have at a point the success story of a Beanie Man. So, but I think the artists are a little bit on the wild side, It's like, I don't think a lot of them take advice. They give who them want to give advice. But I mean, I do it unless I that and this and that. I don't want to get it. I know where my strength lies. I think it's something I could do well. But it would have been artists of a certain thinking, reasoning, understanding, that we could have worked together. But he's a big man and nobody can, me not allow nobody to take no liberty and rude and disrespectful because me make some money off of you. Me not going in that. I don't want none of that.
But some people would say that the management is a way of supplementing your income from the recorded side.
Yes, but let's put it this way. The side that I have operated on has worked well for me. I don't need another side. And I say there's so much more scope for improvement.
Would you say, Gussie, because you have had other streams of income, you have been able to deal with publishing and the technology side of it, the media side, where you have been dealing with equipment and that kind of thing. Do you think that might have been a reason why you maybe could survive and many other producers couldn't?
I am being the best of what I can be, so I don't want to be the worst of what I want to be. I knew where my strength lies, and I stayed there, and it worked for me there. So there's no need to go anywhere. Some people, it might suit them, it might work for them, right? But I remember again, I started out as a sound system operator. I leave that alone. I started exporting records. I leave that alone. I was a self-taught home engineer. That even people like Tubby's call me up there, work for them, Channel 1, scratch the whole of them, give me them tape for cut dub. I cut dub for nearly everybody in Jamaica. I realized that the money not around that side of the console. I go around the other side of the console, and it worked for me. So I don't need to go anywhere. I have found my niche, and I have found where my abilities and my strength lies. That's a big problem with this industry now. People don't know where them strength lies. For example, a man has sing for 20 years. Him can't make a hit. But he has probably learned so much of the skills. Maybe him could have been a manager, maybe he could have been a writer, maybe he could have been an engineer. But him just want to be where him want to be, but him just don't have that skill set. I knew where my strength lies, and I followed it, and I am there. I don't want to go nowhere else. It's like, for example, you hear someone tell us sometimes, boy, we write about 200 tunes, you know. It's not about the songs, it's about how active they are. Are they earning money? You have a next set of artists, and this is one of the wickedest things with some of them artists I know, you know. An artist who don't listen. The artist them tell you, him record a song for him and him don't get a penny for 20 years. Let's say that's true. Now there are two questions. And make it look like it's the producer, no give him or the producer a tip. The first question will be, did the record producer collect any money to paying you any money? That's the first thing. Second thing, the record producer make the record, he owns the master. You have already man take it and you have the dub plate and make more money than you make off a stage show. You ever give him anything? Why you not bring up that in the picture? All the money you make off a dub. Artists make more money off a dub plate than they make off a recording and off a stage show, especially in a COVID. Without COVID, many artists would have died of hunger and them never get the producer a penny and them say the producer a thief. Think about that.
Gussie, this new crop of artists, how active are you with them? Because I would think that somebody like you, given your history, a lot of these youngsters would be running to you to say, well, at least give us some guidance and so on. Or is it that Gussie is standoffish and saying, boy, I mean, I really like what I go on with them, you tell me kind of stay pat. What is the state of play?
They are doing their thing, do what them know, and it'll work for them. I am stuck in doing things a little bit different. So it's not that we don't connect or we connect or we don't connect. The industry structure totally different. Most of them youth, I think, come out of an environment where they might have a studio in them neighborhood or them communities and them record there and them doing them stuff and them going and promote it, and that is how they are evolving. So I am not involved in that level of socialization or for them zone for many reasons. Age, time, era, all of a thing. And I realized that's not where my skill lies. No, as I tell about pitchworks earlier, we're going to do something to get there that we don't physically have to get there except now crossing the T and that there. So we're going to bring in a next set of people, another team of younger people who can interact and create the opportunities for all of them people. Now, people tend to, we're a very clannish people as Jamaicans, community and thing. So them connect and they are connecting and they are achieving their success by that way. And if that is how them achieve success, I am happy for them, you know. But from the information that I have, from what I have gone and understood, dancehall or the trap dancehall is doing well-ish, but it sounds like the real world prefer the original dancehall and prefer original reggae from what I have heard. So I don't have a personal opinion and it doesn't matter to me left or right. I'm doing what I'm doing, they are doing what they are doing, and I think we're both are successful in our own way.
So with the pitchwork thing, you're going to be an aggregator where people bring in things and you would make suggestions in terms of...
I go in cross the T's and dot the I's. One of the issues that we don't short of talent, but too much people here focusing on talent of artists. We realize you have young upcoming people. They want to be producers. Them don't understand everything.
So with the pitch work now, you're not necessarily recruiting artists to come up. No, your producers will come to you and pitch their work.
We're going to have producers. Now, the younger generation persons, they're all tied into each other through social media and many things. So let's say, for example, a person who wants to be an upcoming producer. We will provide a creative space, assign a studio. Here's what you can do, but here's the rules. You can't record nobody unless they are part of publishing sign. You have a recording agreement. Here's how it when the song done, you are the producer, we are the executive producer. Here's how you're going to be paid. You have a room or space. We provide creative space training. Our expertise will be there, and we're going to actually, all of that stuff will be there. So whether you want to be an artist, you want to be a producer, you want to be an engineer, we will provide the Clarke way of doing things. So ultimately, and we're going to have some, we're not just going to talk, we have some money put on one side to do it, So we're not telling you just come on that. No, we have some money. But you can't take the money and don't sign the paper. The paper have to sign for us or we can't work. So it will be a different approach to harnessing creative talent of our next generation of people. And we believe if you only want one success story out of 10, and if we make it work and happen with one, the rest will follow. The young guy who want to be a young producer and a build rhythm, him know him next friend who want to be an artist, him know next YouTube. They're all connected, So if you find the right set of people, you will get to a lot of other sets of people.
So this now is a strategy for moving into the next generation, into the next dimension.
I'm smell the money again, Smell it. Yeah.
No, and here it is now. Gussie saying now he understands that the dynamics of the music has changed.
Yeah, man.
The generational shift is on us.
Yeah, man.
And he realizes that what might have prevailed 20 years ago might not be what will be attractive today, but he also understands that there are certain abiding principles where it comes to the music in terms of how you do business.
Will never change.
That will never change. And he is making sure that younger producers are exposed to some of those best practices while at the same time having music work anchor being energized through pitchwork.
Yes.
That's a beautiful strategy and an approach, Gussie.
But me tell you something, smell the money. Yeah, smell it, man.
And you still have the capacity to deal with big projects, as you were talking about the technology and the requirement that some of these sites might need certain kinds of systems.
And I mean, we have equipped one studio exclusively for pitchworks when already, one studio. So people can work 24 hours if they want, and the whole other place can lock down. We have it black and white and locked to a T. Just a matter of timing and getting some other things together. So we're good, man. We're in a good space, man.
I want to hear some more music from Gussie Clarke. I mean, this man has done it all.
I try.
This is a special day for us because we're sitting here and we're celebrating life with the legendary Augustus Clarke, producer extraordinaire. What a catalog. We don't have enough time to showcase Gussie Clarke's catalog in this short period of time, in between the chatter. I mean, it's just not possible. And, there's so much more we want to share with you. I mean, this has been exhilarating in the presence of my friend Augustus Clarke. Yeah, celebrating. Yeah, Lydia, we hear you, man. We get the message. Yes. So we want to really give thanks for this opportunity to share the experience, and we want young producers and people in music to learn from what Gussie has done and continue to do, because the game is not over. He is sharing ideas about what is to come. And there are lots of exciting things, and we really need to pay attention, because this is a man who really has his fingers on the button. Gussie, what an experience it was to really sit down today and just chat with you about production and the business of producing hits, which you are a past master at. I mean, it's really a great opportunity for us and for the people listening. This has been Musically Speaking. Want to thank Danelia Doyle, want to thank Kevin Williams, Zuri, and my 9/10 Maxine. Yes, Lydia Rose, we heard you. We know it's a special thing, and everything is good, right? Gussie is a master. We're gonna go out with a little mix of some of the stuff that has made Gussie famous. Maxi Priest, we wish we could have stayed a little bit longer, but we can't.
You say you're hurting all cause they say I'm flirting.